Hey guys, I thought I'd do a video and give you a little bit of background on me and how I got to where I'm at, and my experience as a younger Jehovah's Witness. Up until 3 years ago, I was more or less couch surfing and often homeless on the streets. Now, when you're homeless, the main things that you think about are food, money, and most importantly, what takes up most of your day is wondering and working out where you're going to sleep that night. So, in terms of looking for a job, that requires going to a library, writing out a resume, and to be honest, that's one of the last things on your mind when you're struggling to know where the fuck to sleep at night, let alone like having a shower and living hygienically. I've got to say, the most difficult thing about being homeless is worrying so much about where you're going to spend the night, where you're going to sleep, how you're going to sleep. It has such a big bearing on what happens the next day for you and how you feel the next day. And it's embarrassing to be homeless. It's soul draining. It really is. When I was 17, I met a girl, a worldly girl, and within a couple of years, she was studying with the Jehovah's Witnesses, and as was I, of course. We would both go to our study. It was a husband and wife team, and my girlfriend at the time would study with the wife, and I'd study with the husband. So after we both started attending meetings, and I know I was witnessing because I was a unbaptized publisher, we were strongly encouraged to marry each other. Now, I was 17. By this time, I was 19, and they were really, really pushing for us to marry each other. And we wanted that. I asked my girlfriend if she would marry me one night on the beach, and she said yes. And I had no clue what I was doing. If I'm honest, I had no clue. I'm still immature, but I was very, very mature then. I had not really much nous about me. Like the idea of a marriage, like the idea of growing up as two Jehovah's Witnesses and having a nice little JW family. So we both ended up going through the baptism book, yeah, and answered lots of questions, and we were told that if we were to get baptised at the next district assembly, our gift from them would be that we could get that we could get married together in a Kingdom Hall. But by the time the district assembly arrived that we were to be baptised at, I wasn't ready, and I was asking questions that I wasn't supposed to ask, like 607 BCE, and why the governing body had so much money if this was a non-profit organisation. Even back then, I was thinking things like this. I'm nearly 50 now, so as a result of those questions that I had asked, it prevented me from going ahead and being baptised at the district assembly. So we got married anyway. We got married in a nice little chapel, and all our friends and family were there. There was Jehovah's Witnesses there, of course, and it was nice enough. It was better than what it would have been in a Kingdom Hall, in my opinion. Anyway, so within a couple of months of being married, both my wife and I moved up to Queensland interstate, and we found ourselves in a really different position than what we had been in before, with like family in the state that we were married in, and elders and other people that were involved in the Jehovah's Witnesses were visiting us, and asking why the hell we weren't going to meetings so much anymore, because we're fucking married now. I don't know. It it was the beginning of the end, basically. When I got married, it was like a bit of freedom to do and think the way I wanted to, and I know, I mean, my wife was on the same page as what I was, so we were kind of sick of getting these little calls and visits by witnesses, and within a couple of months of marriage, we went interstate to Queensland and lived up there. And we lived up there for about a year. That year gave both her and I such a good opportunity to distance ourselves from this whole thing altogether. And I started smoking a bit of weed as well up there. And, weed can kind of make you sort of step outside your normal reasoning mind and give you more reasoning, in fact. And within that year, I discovered, hey, this is all wrong. It's not. It's not at all what I was led to believe. In fact, there's so much in there that is lies. So in that time, I guess I faded as a unbaptized publisher and was not pressured by anyone. I was interstate, but we did move back to Melbourne a year later from Queensland to Melbourne. So we were back in the thick of it where we were in terms of being Jehovah's Witnesses. But after being back here and not getting hassled by anyone, we decided to live our own lives. And we both built this house and had a couple of children, and the whole picket fence kind of set up with the family. I had a nice job, but everything was cruisy. But I still didn't know who the hell I was, that's for sure. But without the influence of the Jehovah's Witnesses, I found myself in a situation where I was married to a beautiful person, love of my life, and having 2 children. And you know what? I was living what they had expected me to live. That was their dream. It wasn't my dream, but that's how I was expected to live. So I kind of had a breakdown at around about the age of 40, which was 10 years ago. And I fucked up big time. I more or less just went to America. Just left the family, went to America in a state of mind which wasn't a good one. I was drug addled and I was drinking a lot. Did that, and because I just didn't know who the hell I was. It had sort of started to hit me that, like 15 years after I got married, I started to realise, hey, what? I haven't even lived as a kid yet. I haven't done what most kids should have done by that point. So, look, long story short, I fucked up and 10 years ago left the family and went to America, lived there for a year, came back to Australia and found myself homeless. And not really wanting to be here, not wanting to live, abusing drugs and alcohol, and not having any family because my father and my sisters, they abandoned me because they knew that I was no longer brainwashed. I didn't want to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore. I had a network of friends, but most of them were drug addicts and idiots. So I found myself very much alone, and up until 3 years ago, where I started to, I guess I started to pull through that depression that I had to go through, Yeah, it's still there now. I still suffer from depression, but I live my life the way Jehovah's Witnesses had wanted me to live my life, not the way I wanted to live my life. So here I am now. I'm not homeless. I'm in a little place. It's like a little cottage at the back of another house, but it's my own. I don't have the streets to be concerned about. You know, there's lots of things that I'm grateful for now, but I know that I'm here now because I'm not an idiot, but I am here now because I do suffer mentally from what I experienced as a Jehovah's Witness child and the conditional love that's given by Jehovah's Witness parents. And it's, of course, my responsibility to pull myself out of that. I'll do that for sure. But I'm very, very ecstatic that what I was able to do was not enforce any of that crap on my own children. And they get to live their own lives. And they get to do what they want to do with a sensible mindset, which both my ex-wife and I had tried to implement. So, Jehovah's Witness children suffer a lot. I mean, they probably still do now. I don't know, with Caleb and all this sort of stuff, it's so different. But when I was a kid, it was 3 meetings a week, and it was witnessing, and you know, you were separated from other kids at school because of your religion. You weren't allowed to do the things that other kids were allowed to do in terms of sports and things like that as well. So, anyway, I'm happy as can be at the moment, but you know, my life could have been a lot different had I not have been so affected by this stupid religion. And mate, I'm one that takes responsibility for his own actions. Don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming them for everything in my life, but they do. When you're brought up as a Jehovah's Witness from birth, you are brainwashed. That's what it is. It's brainwashing. You're taught to believe that you are not part of this world. And what it does for some people is it just makes them want to become part of the world more and more. And once they find out what the world's about and how cruel it can be, because this is life, the witnesses seem like almost an option to go back to. But no, it's because the way your mind is being treated that you think like that. Anyway, that's it for now.